G'day, ZiggyD here, back with another Path of Exile guide. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you guys about how you can best take advantage of the newly discovered 20% quality gem recipe. So for those of you guys who have missed it or who haven't seen this new recipe yet, essentially when you trade a level 20 gem without any quality on it whatsoever, or a random amount of quality, with 1 GCP to the vendor, you will get back in return a level 1 version of that gem with 20% quality. Obviously this is a pretty huge discovery and it has quite a few implications to the way we go about progressing through the game and how we go about improving our character at endgame especially. So that's what I'm going to be talking about in this video. There'll be 3 main topics. The first one will be leveling additional gems while you progress through the game and how you can go about doing that. It's pretty simple stuff. The next one is how to quickly farm experience for the gems you're trying to level. And then the third one is to what gems are worth using this particular recipe on. And I'll go over a few guidelines so you guys can tell for yourself what gems are worth using the recipe on. So the first one is leveling additional gems while you progress through the game. So now that there is inherent value to level 20 gems, there's much greater reason now, more than ever, to actually try and level up some additional gems. So the first thing to know is that firstly, you don't need to use skills for them to level. That's a common question that I get. It's a common question for people coming to the game because, you know, it makes sense. It comes from a lot of other RPGs where you have to use skills to be able to level them up and things like that. But in Path of Exile, as long as you have the gem equipped in your gear, so like any of these gems here, including ones in the offhand sets here, they'll all gain experience as you kill enemies. Now, the second thing to know is that these gems and the experience they receive aren't subject to leveling penalties at all, so that will come into play a little bit later down the road. But as I said, you can level skills in your offhand slots, and the way I recommend going about doing this is to simply have 2 swords or a sword and a shield, or you know, 2 one-handed weapons, don't have to be swords, with 3 sockets each, they're max, and you can just buy new ones whenever you need new colors to fill out these ones. So, and you just put in all of the gems you think you might want a 20% quality at endgame, so they can just level in the background while you're leveling. Now these could just be, you know, swords from normal Act 1 that you've just saved and kept in your offhand slots just to equip, just to level these gems. So that way, while you're leveling, for example, this Immortal Call here, which I'm not using, but I may wish to use later, especially if I 20% quality it, this will continue to level in the background. No, I don't even have to have that weapon sweat equipped. So that's pretty simple, but a few people don't know that. So the next one is to how to quickly go about farming experience for your gems. Now, as I said, gems do not suffer from experience penalties like your character does. So that means if we go farm Cruel Ledge, let's say, level 35, my character will receive heavy experience penalties farming that zone. My actual character experience will move very little because, you know, I'm such a higher level over it in the first place and I need a lot more experience to progress, but also because I'm taking experience penalties. However, gems do not suffer from that. So that means if I, at level 35, try to level my gems in Ledge, level 35 here, they're going to get the same amount of experience as they do if I go back and do it now. So what that means is the best way to farm experience for your gems is to farm the highest level, the most experience rewarding zone that you can do really quickly. So for most people that will be taking advantage of this particular gem recipe, they'll be in maps because it takes a couple weeks to get to any sort of level 20 gem. Even the ones you start with right at the start of the game, you probably won't be getting them to level 20 until you've been doing maps for quite a while. So with that in mind, I suggest that probably docks will be the fastest way to level your gems, simply because you should have huge clear speed in docks, and if you're just trying to, you know, specifically level your gems, then you're going to be able to clear that very quickly and your gems aren't going to suffer any penalties anyway, so it will be a nice way to do it. However, you know, that's not to say you should go out of your way to farm gems, but I'm just trying to, you know, put this knowledge out there for you guys to use with how you will. You may prefer just to stick with maps and just let them level at their own pace. So the next thing I wanted to talk about in that sort of same topic was how to actually go about calculating whether the docks in fact is your best place to farm to level your gems. If you really want to min-max this, then there is a way you can go about telling whether docks is better, or maybe whether something like City of Sarn is better, or maybe even Act 2, like Act 2 probably not Feldshrine, maybe Western Forest, or maybe Act 1 Ledge even. It's pretty hard to know unless you actually do the calculations out for this. Now this is pretty simple to do. All you need to do is find one of your gems that is not about to level anytime soon, so these ones are all about to level. Faster attacks probably won't level for quite a while. So what I need to do is look at this gem, note down how much experience it has now, 3, 6, 6, 3, 8, 9, write that down, and then do a run of whatever zone I'm trying to test. So let's say, for example, I'm trying to test ledge. I do a run of ledge, I time how long it takes me to run, and then I record the new experience at the end of that run, stopping my stopwatch. Then it's simply all you do is you multiply that time out by the experience you received, and multiply it out to an hour, because you really want to compare experience at XP per hour. So do one run for ledge, do one run for another zone you want to do, Fell Shrine, do one run for City of Sun, do one run for Docks, and then depending on your build and character and how well geared you are and all of that good stuff, you'll find which one is the best for you. Maybe with my character, because it has pretty good AoE for low health enemies, maybe the forest would be best for me. But anyway, that's pretty simple. That's how you can go about calculating what would be the highest XP zone for you. So now here's the main meaty part of this particular video. So hopefully you guys have made it this far, and that is what gems to actually use this recipe on, because not all gems are a smart choice really. 20% quality is always really good on gems, but maybe that's not the best thing for you to be doing at that particular time. So there's two factors to consider. The first one is the actual quality bonus of the gem, which I'll go over some guidelines for identifying which ones have good quality bonuses, and then whether you can get by with that gem going back to level 1, because you don't want to send your level 20 gem that you're relying on to continue farming back to level 1 and to break your build essentially. So you don't want to send things back like auras and stuff like that you're relying on, especially because most auras have terrible quality bonuses anyway. But so that's the main thing. Now there is one way you can go about avoiding this, and this ties back in with the leveling additional gems thing. Let's say I have a crucial skill, it doesn't matter what skill it is, that I want to 20% quality when I get to about that stage. Now if I was leveling 2 of those gems, one in my offhand set for example, while I was leveling, they both reached level 20 around the same time, maybe a little one after the other. I simply 20% quality one, stick it in my offhand slots, and then use my level 21 until you start using my 20% quality one, until there's no real drawback there. So that means you can sort of swap those in, and then you can even 20% quality that other gem, and then probably sell that to someone in trade chat and make a little bit of extra money. So that's how you can go about avoiding that. That's a pretty simple thing. But the main thing is the actual quality bonus of gems. Now, if you're following like a good build guide, you should have a fairly good idea of what gems you want quality on and what gems you don't. But for the purposes of this recipe, there's a few extra things to consider. So I'm not going to list out every single gem that would have a good quality bonus, because there's just way too many. But I'll give you some good ones, some good examples of what this recipe should be used for. The first one is Power Charge on Crit. Now, Power Charge on Crit at a 20% gem gives you 50% chance to get a Power Charge on Crit. Now, at a level 20 with no quality, it's only a 49% chance to get Power Charge on Crit. So a 20% level 1 gem is better than the level 20 0% gem. So that's pretty crazy. So that one's definitely one that you should be doing it, because you're not taking any loss whatsoever then, and you're only just starting to gain. And that's actually a really good gem to do that with. So that's one thing to look for, things like that where there's just no drawback whatsoever. Now the next one is Immortal Call. I was trying to find it there. Immortal Call is better at level 1 20% than it is at level 20 0%. Again, same thing as with Power Charge on Crit. That's for example, while I'm trying to level my Immortal Call now, so maybe I can quality it later. The next one is Faster Attacks and Faster Casting. They're both pretty similar in the way that they function. A level 10 20% Faster Attacks or Faster Casting is on par with a level 20 0% gem. So that means you're getting level 1 to 10. Doesn't take very long at all, so you can quality your gem, quickly power level it back to up to 10, and you'll be at where you are before, and then after that point you'll just keep getting better and better. So that's a pretty good one to do. They're pretty good ones to do as well, and that's another thing to look out for. The next one is Melee Splash. This one's fantastic to do with, and it's one I certainly plan on doing with if I continue with this character. The quality for Melee Splash gives you AoE, which you take some damage loss when you revert it back to level 1, but that AoE is incredibly important for most builds that use Melee Splash, since it's an AoE skill. The next one is Infernal Blow, which is the same deal. Warlord's Mark is an additional 30% chance to get an endurance charge on the skill, so that's another great one to do. Enfeeble gives you more reduced enemy accuracy for the quality bonus, and that's really crucial for evasion-based builds, which is the main one using that curse. So that's another really good one to do. Similarly, temporal chains gives you additional slow per percent of quality, so that's another great one to do. And it slows more at 20% level 1 than it does at level 20 0%, so it's another one like those first two gems, Power Charge and Immortal Call. Lightning Strike gives you Pierce, and Pierce is crucial for most Lightning Strike builds, so that's another fantastic one to do. Now, on melee skills, most melee skills actually are a good idea for this because you lose some physical damage but usually gain some other effect. Now, especially if you're using a build that uses elemental damage, most melee skills give you physical damage bonus, which usually you stop leveling it, but if you do happen to level it and quality it, this is actually a good reason to do that. But yeah, there's no real drawback for that for most elemental builds that are using physical melee skills. Added lightning damage gives you shock chance with duration. It's a fantastic one to do because that's arguably more important than the additional damage it gives you. I think most people who use added lightning damage seriously do it for the shock chance. And then as I said, most melee gems. So that's gives you hopefully an idea of what to look for on each gem. And yeah, I'll put that list in the description below in case you guys want to see. But there's probably, as I said, there's probably more gems. Anyway, hopefully you guys have found this helpful and now have a better idea how to approach leveling, progressing, and gearing up your character at endgame with this new recipe in mind, because it's a pretty good one. I'm a big fan of this recipe, and I'm glad it's been discovered. Anyway, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.